What's up, guys? So, I'm still on the hopeful warm help train, which is talking about the messaging of societal issues in movies. And we did Conclave last time, and now we're going to do the other would-be contender for screenplay, given it won the Writers Guild Award, which is Nickel Boys. And I knew it was a long shot because it wasn't nominated for that much, but I really had hoped that it would win something because I would want more people to see it. And I say that as a biracial young person. So this issue of race in 1960s America as both a then issue and an allegory for now is so it's a close thing, and I've watched a ton of movies try to tackle the issue. And it's not that I think a lot of movies get it wrong. It's that I think a lot of movies either are too completely not subtle about the messaging, or they come across as too preachy in some capacity or the other. And Nickel Boys is neither. Nickel Boys on this issue of race was maybe one of the best movies I've seen on it. And because there's so many layers of which is looking at the issue. We're looking at the systemic issues in an institution. We're also looking at the development of friendship even within that institution that does feel very authentic to that kind of a friendship. And on the third level, you're also looking at a polarity of an activist versus the cynic. And there's a twist towards the end of the movie, and in about 10 seconds I'm going to spoil that twist. I've been talking about movies on the channel, but a lot of them are well known enough that spoiling a twist doesn't feel like a warning, but this one will be a warning in 3, 2. So one of the boys dies at the end of the film, and it's the activist boy, Elwood. For the bulk of the runtime, you think, because the runtime jumps back and forth between past and present, and it shows a present person looking into the goings-on and doings of the reform school in the present and watching the travesties be unearthed. And you think that that's Elwood for the bulk of the movie regardless. You also think it's Elwood because he is the activist from day one. And so the fact that it's then revealed that it's Turner who took Elwood's name and continued his work is a domino of all of these issues portrayed in the film, but in such a nuanced way. So is it hopeful? No. Hopeful is yellow. But even with the twist, and a setting and ending that are fundamentally depressing. You watch through our main character's eyes as he's killed, which is very depressing. You can't make it any higher than yellow for that. But you're seeing Turner, the cynic, basically almost become an activist. And it's a powerful thing for a cynic to become an activist. But at the same level, it's also in terms of honoring the friendship. And in that sense, that is a hopeful thing. And I think it's warm, too. Warm as green. As far as this subject matter goes, the filmography, which is only shot in point of view of either Elwood or Turner, it allows it to feel avant-garde. It allows it to feel strictly character-based. And I know changes were made from the book to make some of the travesties of the school more subtle. And I kind of like that because you know that you can, medium of film, you can leave things to the imagination, even horrific things. And but the fact that it's all point of view, the bouts of racism and cruelty that you do experience feel very close and personal. So you're both getting a snapshot into the grander travesties, but you're also feeling the smaller travesties as they happen. And this isn't a movie set in the 1800s. This is 1960s America. I said this in my Brutalist video. There's plenty of unfortunate allegory between 1960s America and now. But because of how the filmmaking is done here, I'm not going to say it's like fully easy to watch, but you're removed enough. The changes made from the book to film, I think, still keep it in that warm territory. And for that reason, too, I'd say in terms of help, I'd say that's Blue, too. Because, you know, I grew up in New York. Personally, I feel like I've only really experienced racism twice, head on. But the feeling stays. And so the smaller bits in which you experience it from these characters' point of view, I think it could help African Americans or any marginalized peoples maybe feel what the worst elements are like. It may make you feel gratitude for having not experienced that, but still being connected to the history and what you've gone through as a people and wanting to help your fellow people, and that's the arc of Turner, too. That through honoring that, you then shows the cynic becoming an activist. It's a mental roadmap for that. And then for those who are white or not marginalized, I feel like it has to be a profound experience because you're watching it from point of view. It's one thing to be watching those movies in which you see black people getting beaten up by police in the 60s from a far removed, perspective with, haunting music in the background, but it's another thing to like live it through a character's eyes, especially if living it feels very intimate. Um, Even though I also give the film credit for putting little news snippets across the film and also giving it context of the 60s. But the only thing holding it back, keeping me from saying purple, is the feel that I'm afraid that people aren't going to watch this movie. And I can understand that. I can understand if an African American wouldn't want to watch this movie, because there are moments there are moments that hits close to home for me and for those who have experienced worse bouts of racism that would hit even more. And it's also depressing. There's a moment that it kind of felt like I was watching The Shawshank Redemption, but like without the last 30 minutes of hope. You're watching almost like kind of a prison movie and experiencing it, but like in a rough way. So I can understand that. But of course then you're going to have other people that aren't going to watch it because the filmmaking's too avant-garde, or aren't going to watch it because you'll have the privileged who aren't going to watch it, is what can happen. But I think if it had won something at the Oscars, or was nominated for more things even, that's the kind of thing that a smaller movie that still hits so hard like this and does feel so important, you end up watching it. Like 2 years ago, there was Women Talking, another little movie that I also felt was really profound, that won Best Adapted Screenplay. And I'm sure as hell that the fact that it won Best Screenplay increased the amount of people that viewed it, if only by a little bit. And I know that me doing this video isn't going to do the same thing, but I had been telling myself that whichever film won screenplay was the film I was going to do, but I decided to do both Conclave and this because there are movies out there that leave an impact, and this is one of them. And there's just enough slivers of hope there to peek out, even if on the small level. But, I've just spoiled the movie for those who watched it and who've watched this video but haven't seen the movie. So, if you're in some random position in which you're watching this video but haven't watched the movie, go watch the movie. But instead, I would hope that you read the description, went back to watch the movie first, and then came here instead. And other YouTubers, speaking to you out there, make more videos on this movie, and let's generate more word of mouth for it. Because just because it didn't win an Academy Award doesn't mean we can stop talking about it. Anyway. Yeah, I wanted to do this one. to say about that. Thank you all for watching, for those who have, and take care of each other. And see y'all next time. Cheers.